What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be discussing what is going on at Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously, less than 2 weeks since the domestic season finished, and there's already been a lot of managerial changes around Europe with jobs at Real Madrid, Inter Milan and Juventus changing hands. But one position that's not been filled is the job at Tottenham Hotspur. Every man and his dog seems to be linked with it at the moment. But the most recent name, and it's a big name, is Antonio Conte, was said to be in advanced talks with Tottenham Hotspur over taking over the manager's job. And today I'm delighted to be joined by a former housemate of mine at uni and Tottenham fan, Dan Blain. So Dan, welcome to the channel. Thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you for having me.
What are your thoughts on what's going on at Tottenham at the moment? In terms of the managerial position, would you like to see Antonio Conte take over?
Well, I think you'd be the better one to judge really on the abilities of Conte, really, having been at Chelsea. But I got no opinion on it, to be honest. I think there is Pochettino would be my first choice to have him back, to be honest. I would like to see him back, but mainly that would be whether or not we could keep Kane. And having Pochettino back might mean we could be able to keep him, but I don't know. I would, I think if Levy backs him and gives him a bit of money to spend, he's a proven winner. One in Italy, already in the Premier League. I can't see it being a backward step, but as for his tactics or whatever, I think he's not exactly the same as Mourinho, but of a similar sort of ilk, more sort of defensive. But after Levy came out and says he wants to get an attacking manager and promised the fans attacking football and all the rest of it, I don't know. I think they're short of options. I think is the big problem. They're short of options, and he's available. And I was reading earlier that somewhere that they were having discussions with him before he was even going to leave Inter Milan. So I don't know what's gone on there, to be honest. But excited, I guess. It's always exciting when someone new comes into the club. So we should wait and see. Hopefully, wait and see if they appoint someone sooner rather than later, so we can get going, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the crucial thing, because it strikes me that going back to obviously the sacking of Mourinho, I think the timing was very odd. The week before the cup final, and then with so little games left in the season, I mean, maybe things were so toxic that they just had to get rid of him before the season was out. But for me, they would have been better off keeping him to the end of the season, moving him on, and then you've got a few more options at looking who to bring in. Because at the moment, it just looks like there's absolutely no plan on who they're bringing in. 1 week it's like Eric Ten Hag from Ajax is being linked. Roberto Martinez. There's just no plan in place whatsoever.
Like I said, literally just said, it's just a lack of choice, really. I mean, would any of those two you just said, high on anybody else's agendas of getting him in as managers? Don't think so. Martinez, be okay. I mean, Martinez is all right as a manager, but he's not. You go from Mourinho to Martinez is not exactly a step up, is it? I don't know, but so I think I mean, Conte's available and he's he's won some stuff. I think that's the biggest thing is they're desperate. They're desperate to say we're desperate for trophies. But so if you get a manager that's won trophies, I think that's one of the big things they want in the CV, I guess.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think for Tottenham now it is they've got the great stadium that's been built. It looks absolutely fantastic. They need to be playing Champions League football in that stadium. They need to be attracting the best players to that stadium, and that's kind of what that stadium deserves. But there's moving on to sort of the playing side of things. The squad for whoever comes in next, if that happens to be Antonio Conte, there's a massive overhaul that needs doing to that squad. It's not just going to be done in one window. This is going to maybe take 2, 3, 4 years to sort out. And what are your thoughts on the current squad?
Well, and I think it's a project that Poch started himself, and I mean I don't really know what project Mourinho started. Really, Mourinho's I think is he a short-term manager now? Would you call him a short-term manager these days? I don't know. I mean, didn't appear. I mean, I don't you don't work there, so you don't see the day-to-day goings on of the football club. But what project he had going on. I mean, they've got, there is some good youngsters again. I mean, he gave debut to I've forgotten his name now this year, the striker.
Oh, Davine Scarlett.
Yeah, I mean, so there is, but that project again was started by Poch. So I thought you should have him back, because a lot of it's his doing, I guess, or at least that was sort of his vision, was to they had no money, so they had to develop youth players. So yeah, I mean, as for the squad itself, they've got a good squad. I mean, you can't say. I think Harry Redknapp said last year he thought Spurs were going to win the league when they were top, and they had a mental squad in Bale, Son, Kane at top. So I mean, the squad is, the squad's very good. They've got very good midfielders. It's just like I was saying to you before you started recording, that centre half is that massive problem. I mean, we've got, and to be honest, we've got huge problems at full back. I think Aurier is a liability at times. He's laughable at times. I mean, giving pens away, doing stuff that I'd expect of myself playing football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's doing stuff like that.
Reguilon's been, there's sort of quite high hopes about Reguilon. He looks like a good footballer, but then you just some of the stuff that he's done towards the end of the season, like the comical own goal he scored, and you just look at him and you think, well, actually, is this guy any good?
No, he's fantastic. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's really, really good. Like he's quick and whatever. He didn't contribute enough the other side of the, because for him, really, I think he's probably going to be better further forward than he is, at further back. But not enough assists and not enough goals. I think really from him, not that you expect him to score too many, but at least some contributions. But I think Mourinho's system, they're a little bit, don't know whether or not that suited him. I don't know, but he seems electric at times. Really, I mean, he's so quick. I like him. I mean, but and yeah, just centre half. They did need centre halves. I mean, Foyt. Yes. he's won a Europa League playing for Villarreal.
Yeah,
on loan from us, and we get knocked out.
Where do you stand on the future of Hugo Lloris? Because obviously I know he's a World Cup winner of France. He's been a great servant to the club. But in the last couple of years, he's not really looked himself. A lot of mistakes creeping into his game. Would you be? He's been
very good. No, he's been very good. I mean, I don't, some of the saves he pulls off have been fantastic. At times, he's kept us in games at times, and you've got to look at who he's partnered in front of him. I mean, he had the protection of like inform Alderweireld and Vertonghen in front of him for those few years. I mean, and they were brilliant. So yeah, anybody's going to look a lot better when your two centre halves are fantastic. I mean, you add Edison or Alisson are fantastic, but the boys that are playing in front of them, like Ruben Dias this year, I mean.
I think that's key. Look, you can have the best goalkeeper in the world in the sticks, but if what's in front of you is not confident, that lack of confidence transfers back to you, and then your form just drops. So look, I think he's made a lot of mistakes recently, but I don't think that's an urgent.
If you're putting him under, like you don't want to put your, like if you would know. I mean, if you're playing football, you don't want to put your goalkeeper under pressure all the time.
No way.
No matter how good they are. So. I think he's made a few mistakes, as I said, but I don't think that's an urgent area that needs addressing. There's other areas of the squad that could be much better dealt with, particularly as you mentioned, particularly the centre half issue. Just moving on, Dan. Obviously, there could be a potential big problem at the other end of the pitch if obviously Harry Kane does move on this summer. Where do you stand? Where do you stand on his future? Do you think as a Tottenham fan, do you feel? Do you know what? Fair enough. You've given us so much. He's been there 16 years, I believe. You've given us great service, scored a lot of goals. And do you think he should be allowed to move on? Well, I think if they're going to give him, if it's going to be 200 million, because realistically, well, how much is he worth? I mean, I don't know. How much is he worth now? Like, he's got to be worth a lot. I mean, and he's got 2 years left in his contract. I mean, this 2024, is it something like that? I can't
think 3 years left, yeah.
yeah, so the cards are all in Spurs' hands, really. But yeah, for him, I mean, you hear a lot, watch Sky Sports, whatever, and they always talk banging on about, go and win trophies. He wants to win trophies, go somewhere else. But I mean, they've come close. They've come close several times now. And if he wins, like, I don't know, if he wins 10 with, say, I don't know, Madrid or, say, City or whatever, or United, is that going to be the same as if he, won 1 or 2 at Spurs? I don't know. Would it mean more to him? You'd have to ask him.
I think that's the question, because without doubt, I think, Tottenham wanting 150 million pounds for him, I think 120 million is probably more realistic in this current climate. But again, it does come down to the question. I think who the next manager will be could have a big bearing on that.
Yeah, I think that's
if
why
Antonio Conte would come in, there's the possibility that might convince him to stay. But then again, there was rumours that that he wanted to leave, but obviously Levy appointed Mourinho and was like, look, we've got Mourinho in now, just give us one more season.
Yeah, but I don't think you could do that again with Conte. No. I mean, you can't do it again with. I mean, they're both of. I think Mourinho's probably got a better track record than going back years. But I mean, you can't say, oh look, we've got someone else in now, let's stick around and see what he does. I mean, I think Poch was the answer for Kane. I mean, if you like I fumbled my words through at the start. I mean, if we got Pochettino back, I think you only have to watch the Spurs documentary to see that how much that affected him when he went. I think he was a key part of his career, I guess. So yeah, I was hopeful that they'd get Poch back, and that would mean that keeping Kane would be more on the cards. But
I mean,
I don't know. I think he will stay, to be honest. I mean, everybody else thinks it's a foregone conclusion that he's gone, but I don't think it is. I mean, I think to be honest, he will stay.
Yeah, I think I'd almost be inclined to agree with that. Look, I think it's obvious that he probably wants to leave. He's going to be 28 this summer. He wants to push on. He's said in a number of interviews that he wants to win team trophies. That the individual awards are great, but he wants those trophies in the cabinet. Realistically, Spurs, they've come close over the last few years, but it's going to be well into his 30s before he perhaps are challenging and even winning the big trophy. So you can understand from that point of view why he wants to move on. It's just the question.
Well, he thinks he's halfway in his career. Yeah, that's what he said in his last interview.
I think it's contractually, though. He's not really got a leg to stand on because he signed that long extension. He's got 3 years left on his deal. He said there's a gentleman's agreement as such with Daniel Levy. I don't think Daniel Levy as an operator does gentleman's agreements. I think if the money were to come in, I think they'd seriously consider it. But I think it's going to be one of those that drags on the whole summer. And like you, mate, I would probably say if I had to bet now, I'd expect Kane to stay put at Spurs for next season. But just one last thing, Dan, before we wrap up. Who do you think will be the next manager of Tottenham?
Oh, I don't know. Today, probably Antonio Conte, but that's what my head says. So my heart will tell you Pochettino, but I don't know. I think that he's got contract problems in at PSG. So they've triggered an extension as well, haven't they?
So that could cost them a bit more money to get him out the contract if
and they're getting a new director of football in as well, aren't they? Did you see that they've got the sporting director from Juventus in? So I don't know whether or not that's lining up. For Conte to come, because they're getting a new rejigging how they're going to operate and sort out their transfers. I mean, it's certainly going to be a very interesting summer at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm sure this managerial situation will drag on for a few more weeks, as I'm sure will the future. Keep us nice and interested, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. As will the future of Harry Kane. That seems like a good point to finish on. Dan, thanks very much for your time. Thanks for joining me, mate. As always, guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, smash a like on the video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.